All right, everyone. I would like to read to you uh, the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution before I go into what I'm going to talk about, because it's very relevant to what I'm going to speak of. The Fourth Amendment, and I'm going to read it right from my handy dandy little text, so I'm not inserting words or excluding words. I'm reading it exactly as to how it's written. U.S. Constitution, Amendment 4, Search and Seizure. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, in their houses, their papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we're talking about the FISA courts, because the FISA courts are very unconstitutional. The FISA courts are a group of secret judges. We don't know who they are. The feds, the FBI, can go in and say, we want a warrant on this person because they're speaking, this American citizen, because they're speaking to people overseas, and the FISA court goes, they vote, and what they do is they basically rubber stamp these requests. And right now, everyone is hashtagging release the memo about the Trump dossier and showing how Obama or Hillary Clinton had gone to the FISA court and got a warrant to wiretap or to listen in and to get intelligence on Donald Trump. Now, just think that if they can do this for someone who is running for president, a successful billionaire, a celebrity, imagine what they can do to someone who has no money or doesn't have the celebrity or doesn't have the influence of Donald Trump, and how much other people's rights are being violated. The FISA courts, we don't know whose rights are being violated, but we know that they are violating the rights of American citizens. The NSA doing their data mining, collecting all of your information. Every time you use your cell phone, they're collecting information on you without your permission, without probable cause. Because what's the probable cause for anyone? I mean, you have to have probable cause. What probable cause is when a police officer goes in to a judge and asks for a warrant, okay, or actually, a police officer pulls you over. There's some sort of infraction, whatever it is. They pull you over because you're speeding, you fail to stop at a stop sign, whatever it is. And they meet you at the car, and they smell marijuana, or what they think is marijuana. You're glassy-eyed, maybe you're slurring your words. So by your appearance, you've given them probable cause to ask to search your vehicle, to look for drug paraphernalia, drugs, or to have you get out of the vehicle and assess you for a DUI if they smell alcohol in your breath and you're slurring your words. There's enough probable cause there that you're probably drunk or you're probably under the influence that they can request to search your vehicle. So that's probable cause. Probable cause is the threshold of you probably are doing this, and these are the reasons why we think that you are breaking this law, and so that gives them probable cause to search, to seize those things. Now, if a police officer goes to a judge or the district attorney goes to a judge and asks that they search your home, they have to have probable cause of what they're looking for. If they think you're dealing drugs, they have probable cause. They're going to ask that they conduct a search warrant at this property to search for these drugs, and they think you have weapons, these weapons, and they go in and they search. So they have to have something specific that they're looking for. If in searching your property, they find something else that's not listed in the search warrants, they technically can't seize it unless it's in plain view. So if you're looking for, you know, an AR-15, let's say, and you got a stash of AR-15, you know, talking about big rifles, and they open up your medicine cabinet and they find cocaine, but the search warrant doesn't say cocaine or say drugs, then they have illegally obtained that because it wasn't in plain view. They had to open something to find it, and it's not something that the AR-15 or a big weapon would be stored in, so they had no right to go and look in that area. So search warrants are very strict in what they have to have probable cause of what they are looking for, and you can't go in like what Robert Mueller is kind of doing right now, which is, you know, this whole Robert Mueller thing. The Russia probe is a fallacy. It's fake. But what Robert Mueller is doing is he's going in and he's just looking for any little thing he can find and getting every little person he can find. I don't even think, I mean, it's like his warrant is scopeless. When our rights tell us, it is in our Constitution, we have the constitutional right to have search warrants be specific. I mean, the search warrant even has to say, you know, your address, if it's your house, if there's any sheds that are going to be searched, shed, outbuildings, vehicles. I mean, it has to list everything. But this FISA court is unconstitutional. We don't know who these judges are. They're issuing these rulings. I mean, the fact that the FISA court is sitting is unconstitutional, and we don't have to go any further than that. The FISA court is unconstitutional, and it should be shut down. And American citizens have a right not just to their own right to their own security and safety from illegal searches and seizures. We have the right to privacy in this country. They have no right to be tapping anybody's telephones just because they're talking to someone who's out of the country. We have a lot of people in this country that have family members that don't live in this country. People travel abroad. They have friends that are not in this country. So the fact that you're having phone conversations with people outside of this country should not give them any reason to go to a FISA court and get a warrant on you to listen in on your phone calls or collect the data on your phone calls. And I don't care if it's a Democrat, I don't care if it's a Republican that are issuing these warrants or that started this court. The very fact that this court exists is an abomination to this country, and Donald Trump should disband FISA altogether. That court is unconstitutional and it should not exist. Period. End of story. And whatever the memo is, it should be released. And when you have politicians, especially politicians that are really slimy, like my representative Scott Taylor. Okay, I don't think he's that slimy. He's not as slimy as, say, Lindsey Graham or John McCain or Jeff Flake or Chuck Grassley or Dick Durbin or a lot of these others. He's not as slimy as them, but when you have slimy politicians that are looking at this memo and saying that this memo needs to be released, that tells you something right there, because they like to keep all of this locked down and in secret because they all protect themselves. And so the fact that we even have politicians that are coming out saying that this memo needs to be released, it needs to be released. So the memos need to be released, and I dare to say that Everything from the FISA court needs to be released to the public. And the FISA court needs to be shut down. So that's my feeling on it. I'm going by the American Constitution in writing. I'm not going based on party, because I could give a shit about party. But it's up to you. You decide if I'm right or I'm wrong. You can leave your comments below. Criticisms, whatever. But anyway, FISA court, unconstitutional. Bottom line, release the memo. I'm out of here in 3, 2,